Hi guys, Trixie here from Comic Asylum,
Hey.
and our special guest, Orlando Harding.
Orlando Harding, yay!
So excited. So we've been
Yay.
eating away and drinking
Thai food.
Thai food.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm glad that was your first Thai food.
First
ever.
Thai food, yes.
And you like my drink.
Yes, absolutely. I love the Thai food. I love the whole ambiance
Okay.
of what
Good.
Comic Asylum has done with you wonderful ladies.
Thank you.
You know what? We don't want it. I called her and was like, should we write things down? I'm like, no, we're gonna just wing it, and we'll go.
Freeform.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the way it should be.
So it'll capture everything that it's gonna happen tonight, you guys.
I think when things are scripted, people kind of get pissed off.
Yes.
Because it looks like, oh, it's not even real. But this is
Doesn't
as
seem
real as it's going to
natural.
get. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem natural. So it's good. You see how, with our nervous selves,
Mm-hmm.
so how we
Our
take things
hands.
down.
Our
Yeah.
first video was like just hands.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to I feel like we're trying to translate.
Well, like Pamela said last week, have you seen Talladega Nights
Mm.
with Will Ferrell?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what to do with my hands. That was us.
Okay. But you know what? You guys are going to flow. You're going to get even better with it.
Thank you.
And then once the show builds, everybody's going to, they're going to expect just you guys have drills. So I'm pumped that I'm the third person here.
I
I'm just like,
know.
wow.
I'm so excited.
I would have just been happy to make the top 10, honestly.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm so glad that you were able to make it here because I know it's Friday night. It should be
Friday night. But what better than be at a comic book store with three beautiful ladies
Aw.
and talking about
Comics.
comics and whatever else.
Yes.
And
And
Thai
food.
food. And
Oh.
Thai food. Yes.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
We're plugging it in again. Le Basil, and it's not French. It should be Thai food. It's Thai food. Okay, sorry.
We're like,
We
See?
have technical difficulties
These are the
again.
things that happen.
yeah. On Tuesday, we were having that
So
problem.
tell
about
me,
sweating.
Orlando.
Uh-huh.
So you are a writer,
I am.
and you're running Fantasia Comic Con.
Yes.
Yeah, my God. And and you have a 9-to-5 job too, right?
9-to-5 job.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not, I am a licensed drug and alcohol counselor.
Oh, awesome.
So those of you who are smoking crack and doing methamphetamine, if you need help and you'd like to stop, call Orlando. I will help you.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I mean, that's so nice that you're doing that to help people. My dad was I don't know if he still is, honestly, but apparently he was a drug addict, and he finally got help. So that's
It's
so
important.
nice.
It's important. I mean, we have the biggest epidemic of drugs going on right now with heroin and young children, young people dying, old people dying.
Not children.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Believe it or not, I kid you not, the average age for anybody in America to start using drugs is 11 years old.
I
11.
believe it.
That's just like a middle
I
school.
believe it.
The average age that they start using drugs or they're exposed to drugs is 11 in America.
It depends, how the household.
Yeah,
the people,
absolutely right.
like, what kind of the neighborhood environment that you're growing up. It's just something easy
That's
to
right.
get pulled in. I mean, also I have, not only my father, but I have uncles, three of them, that,
Are we
Yeah,
seeing
into
this
that.
epidemic like right now in the valley, or is it just like we're generally seeing?
Everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's
In the
hard.
valley, absolutely.
It's 11 years old. Because I have an
Absolutely.
11-year-old.
Yeah.
He's in middle school.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So,
And with the legalization of marijuana,
Yeah.
that's even more pervasive now.
See, okay, with that,
Uh-huh.
is that, now that you said it's legal, and do you still see that as that's something that it's bad still for them?
I mean,
or-
yeah, it's a
or
gate-
just
it's-
needs-
It's a gateway, but it's normalized just like alcohol with America. So even with the books that I write, there is drug use in my books. There's alcohol use in my books. Even Sydney from Red Riding Hood, they go to football games and they're smoking some weed. That's normal culture for a lot of Americans, a lot of females, a lot of men. So to preclude that and say that doesn't happen doesn't even make any sense. You want to keep it real. So this is part of normal American society. So it should be in
That's
all aspects, including comics.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
and it's okay. I mean, obviously they legalize it. So, I mean, hopefully they know the loss. I mean, like I live in the that I've asked one of my pool member today is like, are we going to have a dispensary? Which I'm not, I mean, it's going to happen. But I know there's zones that they have to take.
Mhm.
course, and whatnot. So, yeah, but it doesn't.
Well,
Wow.
Well, right now,
That's kinda-
Segundo City, on Perez Road,
Mhm.
I passed by the
It's
other
a
day,
couple.
and oh my god, I do not like the smell of that. And I rolled my windows up, like the smell of staying in the car. I had my baby in the car, and I was just like, oh my god. And it's so like I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know how that works, but
It's
I
not
don't know
gonna
if
affect
that's
you. You'll be
gonna
fine.
affect them.
You'll be
And I was
fine.
like, oh, they're behind.
No issue. No issue. You'll be
But,
fine.
you know, like
He's asking for
I did
Doritos and all
now
that
he's
stuff.
like, hey mom. And then as soon as he passed by, I rolled all the windows down. I was like, oh my god. I'm like, I hope I don't get pulled over or they think, you know, I'm like smoking with a kid in the car. But it's like I you know, I like to see all that now, like as the good side of that.
Right.
You
Yes.
know, like it helps for patients that they cancer
Right.
patients and
Right.
other
And not only for
Things
that,
like
just
that.
like for anxiety and depression. And
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
Some people, I think, there are legitimate
yeah.
uses for drugs, but you have to be obviously careful because you don't want it to go to the next level where you become addicted. That's all.
I think it's just normal as, you know, humans that we get addicted to anything, you know. I mean,
You can be addicted to comic books.
Comic books. I'm addicted to comic books.
Oh gosh,
It doesn't kill.
it doesn't. It kills your pocket.
Very true. Very
It
true.
kills your
Very
pocket.
You're a writer, so you're
Right.
only writing comic books. Or are you doing novel or?
No, I'm only doing because that's my love.
So how did you start with that?
You know, it's weird. I actually started. I've always had a pretty vivid imagination. Even my wife, who's probably my harshest critic, but my greatest asset,
Aren't we all
told me,
wives?
yes, plug in for the wives, plug in for the wives. She actually, you know, she was, and I've always collected. And so when I was in college, I attended San Diego State. And when I
Which
was
you were a football player.
yeah, as a matter of fact, yes. I originally went to San Diego State to play football. And I went for a transfer from a junior college. And a friend of mine took me to a comic book store. And I hadn't collected in years. And I went to the
But you
store.
have collected since you were little.
I had
or
collected
read.
probably since I was about maybe 11 or 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
So now here I am in college. I'm like 19, 20.
Mhm.
Taking to the store. Went upstairs in the store for like an hour.
Wow.
And I fell in love all over again. Next thing you know, I found a store local to San Diego State and started collecting again.
Oh, wow.
And I'm usually willing to try anything, you know. I'll try anything if it looks kind of cool, you know. And this one book I got, which shall remain nameless, I took the book home and I read it, and I was really like, "What kind of shit is this? Like, who the hell did this?" I'm like, "I bought this for $5, and it was just horrible." It was,
Wow.
So I meant to comment out loud with my wife there, and she was like, "You know, Armando," she goes, "You actually have a pretty good imagination. You ought to try writing." I said, "You think so?" She was like, "Yeah, I think you could really do something like that." And I was like, "Okay." And I set off. Didn't know what I was doing, and I just wanted to first come up with just a unique, a good story that nobody had ever heard of. And believe it or not, that was my first book, and then I ended up self-publishing it. It was called Pariah. It was about an angel kicked out of heaven, sent to Oakland, California, as punishment by God. Now, you've never heard of anything like that. So,
And it's funny because he corrected me because when I was reading his, you're a popular man. You can Google yourself up and you know.
beautiful. I like hearing that.
Yes, you can Google it up and then like there's things like, I'm like, okay, let me read this. So, Oakland said, finally we have a first superhero in Oakland, and I said, oh my god, I didn't know you were from Oakland. And he corrected me. He's like, girl, I'm from San Francisco. I'm like, oh yeah, a bridge away.
Yeah.
A bridge
About a
away, guys.
30-minute drive over the Bay Bridge. But yes, I am from San Francisco, but I created Oakland's first suit. And that's what I do. Since I can't afford to live in the Bay Area anymore, I put all of my stories in San Francisco or in Oakland as a reflective of my loss of living up there.
Okay. Aw, that's awesome.
I miss home, but I just can't afford it.
Wait a second. Now you're in the
Pretty
desert. Do you like living here?
I like living here.
It's completely.
It's hot.
I
And
was
it's,
just gonna say that. Like the weather is
well, it's a little bit
so
different.
different.
But, you know, for what we're paying down here in rent, you know, up there, the same exact thing in San Francisco would be a $6,000-$7,000 a month house. So, yes, I appreciate living down here and sitting with you wonderful ladies.
Yes. And you know what? School system too is so much better out
Yeah.
here, isn't it?
It is. It is. It is.
So I would
I appreciate it.
gas prices and
Woo!
food
Yes.
prices. Yeah.
You know, for my sorry.
No, it's okay.
For my honeymoon, I wanted to go to San Francisco.
Okay.
I've been to San Francisco.
Okay.
I lived there for a few months.
Okay.
Well, not San Francisco. We're like, I don't know.
It's the city where all the Filipinos hang out.
No.
A lot of Filipinos in Daly City.
No,
Love you.
We were like probably 20, 30 minutes
Okay.
away, but we will be always in San Francisco. We travel a lot to San Francisco. And we just couldn't take it. It was too cold for us because we lived right off the
Really?
ocean.
Off the water?
Yes,
Okay, you're
it
right
was
off the water.
extremely cold.
Oh, it is cold.
I mean,
yes.
coming from here, like we left, it was summertime,
Right.
So it was extremely hot
Mhm.
here. We got there, and the people out there, family that we had there, were like, oh, it's summer out here. It's summer, it's hot, and blah blah. Shorts, tank tops, and we're like, this is not summer. This
Are
is
you
winter
all
for
wearing
us. Yeah, we had to go to the
sweaters?
store and buy like sweaters and buy
Oh,
sweaters
my.
because it was so cold. And we did not like it, so we came back. But I do, it's a beautiful city. I love it, and I want to go. I want to go back and,
To visit, yes.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm with
such
you.
a long time.
I'm with
since
you.
I've been there.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I love when I go home to visit too. I just love going on there.
yeah.
Wow. So is your family still out there? Or?
No, we're all out here now. We're all out
You
here.
moved them all.
Everybody's here, and I have one uncle still out there. So whenever I go to the Bay, I stay at my uncle's house.
Oh, okay.
And the only time I'm up in the Bay if I go to a comic convention up there. San Jose has a great Comic Con out there, Silicon Valley Comic Con. It's a really cool show, and so we normally go to the show every couple of years. We get a booth and have it at the show. And Devil's Due First Comics, who I work for,
Oh,
who,
That is a
who
publisher.
my
you
publisher,
work for
my
them?
publisher, yeah.
Right. Oh my
My
god! I
publisher.
just bought the comic book from them. The little girl. It second one. I ordered a
Do you have
second too.
Can you get a number one?
I
We,
ordered.
yes, the answer to
Yeah.
that question is yes.
I ordered from the publisher because
Yeah.
Diamond didn't. I think they only had such a small
Well,
production. or
in
something like that.
our defense, though, because you know this, Diamond has this big, huge book.
Yes.
Okay, preview.
Big book.
and it was
But
not in there.
small publishers are only this much, so they don't really let the comic book owners to like here we go. Here's some small presses here, and no, it's more like catered for like the big publishers. So
It
yeah.
really is. It really.
And I found out about this book through an app that
Really?
they were saying, it was the hot comic book of the week. And I read what it was about. I kind of like creepy, scary stuff. And when I get too scared, then I won't read it. But this one was actually really good, It wasn't too scary. It wasn't like, it was good.
It wasn't total gore, but yeah,
No,
this,
no. And I mean, it's a little girl goes, and I was just like, oh, you need to read it. You will like that. She likes
Yeah,
scary
Okay,
she made me read
okay.
it, and I was
And-
like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, no, I like it. So number 2 just came out, I think, a week ago. So we ordered it, and I had recommended that one. But they do have, I like it.
I mean, and that's what it's about. I mean, I work for an independent. I've never really been interested in working for the big guys or anything like that, because the big guys are the big guys, and I don't hate them. I hate on them or anything like that. But most people don't even know there are independent comics out there. Okay? And everybody knows, of course, Marvel, DC, Marvel. But the only independents they may hear about are maybe Image Comics.
Yes.
The Walking Dead, of course,
Right.
Kirkman and everything has what done with that. But there are so many
Mhm.
talented people who work for independent companies, small press, and we will go places where the big guys typically want. And that makes us, I think, that much more interesting, intriguing, and unique in itself.
And and I've it's one of my thing when I open a comic book shop is that I was more catered for independent ever since we first opened our first comic book store. I like the idea it's original characters, original story. It's no little
Superhero.
Right.
superhero
Right.
saving a girl, saving the world, saving this. It's so much more like you can relate to it.
It's about anything. And
Right.
she got me into it. I mean, I didn't know before, I didn't know anything about comics.
Really? Okay. Okay.
Before. I mean, knew about the
Little bit,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, but not. And she got me into independent comics, and I pick up a lot of the independent comics because she's the one who introduced me to that.
Good job, Chance.
And-
Good job.
Yeah, and then we push it a lot here.
It's important. We need the support because that's one of the biggest problems that we have as independent creators and independent publishers
Yeah.
is that stores tell us, they tell us straight up, hey, our shelves, There's limited space on the racks, limited space, and typically they're going to go with their best sellers. Their best sellers are the big guys because that's what everybody knows.
Yeah.
But if the public, if the fans, if just readers just would, come over to the independent section and just take a look at a couple titles, they'd be like, hey man, this is cool. I never saw this. I never thought about this. And they'll get drawn right in. They'll get drawn right in.
I don't know if you noticed, but our independent section is pretty big. It's,
I think we have a better. I'm not saying this from all three of comic books or anything out of it. We do have a wide variety of independent
because
we read it.
It's so important.
We read
it. There's so many, so she takes some, or I mean, what it calls me is always the covers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see, or I read a little bit of the previews, but mostly the covers. So once I see a cover and I was like, oh, I'm going to read that. And then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to read. And then we just kind of like tell each other.
And that's the first thing that attracts you is the cover, exactly. And, I mean, and then, so even the way, when I broke in, I self-published. Pariah did well. Then my wife, we were talking about some new characters I was going to start developing. She was like, part of Pariah is a woman named Diana, and she's about to die because she's been defeated by Pariah. And before she dies, she basically makes peace with everybody before she passes on. She goes, Diana's story is really an interesting story. She goes, I think you got to go with her. Like, really? You think so? She goes, I'm telling you, Diana has a really interesting story. I was like, okay. So, and she's a demon bounty hunter from hell. She's basically the spawn of Lucifer, but she rebels against him. She rebels.
She's an anti-bad guy.
Yeah, she's anti, but no, she starts off really bad though. She starts off really, but she sees the light while she's on Earth, and she sees what's going on. And so when I first came up with the concept and everything, I said, you know what, I didn't know any better, so I just did the best I could. I hired an artist, I hired colorists, I hired letterers, and in the end, the poor guy who didn't know what he was doing, I ended up figuring it out, and it actually did pretty decently. And there were a couple of contests that you could send. You could send your books into, and go for this contest. You can see if you want anything. And one of them was very specific because Night Stalker, she's an African American female. She's an African American bounty hunter, and the greatest thing about it was I thought her story was so unique that nobody had really seen before, especially for a female. So I sent there was a contest called the Glyph Awards. I was like, oh, it says we're looking for cool minority characters, African American characters, minority characters. So I was like, well, shoot, just send it in. So I grabbed 4 or 5 issues of Night Stalker, sent it in, did everything, and never heard anything. Never heard a word. It was like a couple of months, and then I get up one morning, I get on Facebook, I see all these messages. Congratulations, Orlando, congratulations on winning the Glyph. I'm like, holy smokes, I won. So I started emailing. I said, where did you see I won? They started showing me the links to where it was, and I won the Glyph Award for Best Female Character.
That is awesome.
And that was beautiful. So when we talk about the independents, now here's the funny thing. I would go to San Diego and go to all these shows and everything, trying to hustle my product, trying to get them to give them a chance. Everybody told me no. Everybody told me no. Every independent I could go to was like, nope. Everybody.
Is this like back in
We're talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago? 6 years ago. So everybody told me no. From Image to Valiant to Dark Horse. No. And you could tell, honestly, you could tell they were struggling with it. I could actually see. I can read people, especially as a counselor. I can read people. They were struggling. They saw the potential. But when they looked at me and looked at that, they're like, no.
They judged the book by its cover?
They judged the book by its cover.
Wow.
And a couple of them said, they were like, man. And you can see the struggle. And then I went by Devil's Due, which was First Comics back then. We hadn't merged with Devil's Due yet. We hadn't combined. It was First Comics. And Ken F. Levin was in the booth. And I had Night Stalker. I brought it over. And I was like, hey, Mr. Levin, my name's Orlando. This is my book, Night Stalker. Da, 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 da. He looked at me, he said, Night Stalker? Did you win the Glyph? I'm like, yeah, that's me. I want a cliff. He's like, come on in. You let me come
so
in.
You tell me Image, Dark Horse, and Valiant, those, they're pretty big for independent.
Pretty big.
So they didn't recognize that you won.
No. I don't think they had a clue. And in the end, it was just, and I get it. Because I'm in the same scenario. A lot of people probably approach them at cons and everything, but you're never going to see them any other place.
Right.
Now, the one thing I will say, I will be honest. Savage Dragon, the creator of Savage Dragon, his name is...
It's Image Comic.
Image Comics, Eric. Oh man, I got to think of what his name is from Savage Dragon. The creator of Savage Dragon, who used to be in charge of Image Comics, he looked at Night Stalker and he was just like, "This is actually pretty cool." But he goes, "I'm not in charge anymore." He goes, "So you're gonna have to send it in to Image Central to the main place." But he goes, "You know what? I am going to give them a heads up that I am sending you to them, and I want them to take a look at this book." Because he goes, "I really dig this. This has potential. It really has potential." And I was just like, "Thank you. And he gave me the guy who runs Image, the head guy, and funny, both their names are Eric. And I emailed him over and over and over and over and over for about 4 or 5 months. Emailed him. Didn't receive another, never got a response from him. Never got a response. So I was just like, oh well. But this is one of the things you got to learn in independence, or just being a creator or anything. You got to keep going forward. You got to stay persistent. Get ready to hear no on a regular basis.
You're saying that not so long ago, I saw a post of one of the artists. I want to say it was Julie, but I'm not sure, that they kept rejecting. They said they sent like a bunch of drawings and all this work, and they kept telling him no. Like, famous, artists. So good that you kept going.
Kept going, and for all the no's, I think one of the most important things you could ever say. For all the no's, remember, all you need is one yes. It is one. The one yes will set you to where it's going. And then First Comics said yes, and I've been with them ever since. Anyway, it is an interesting thing, and they just made me exclusive. Maybe 2 months ago, they made me exclusive. Exclusive to Devil's Due First. So, and Kenneth Levin, he's a fantastic publisher. He's a great person, a great mentor. He's the executive producer on Preacher. He reps it. He's also an attorney. He reps some pretty big names. He reps Garth Ennis, and he takes care of us at Devil's Due First. Ken takes care of us.
Awesome.
Josh Blaylock takes care of us. I love our family at Devil's Due First. I really love it. So now,
to hear that.
So now
I feel better to buy from them.
It's important because we need the support. We need as much support as possible.
So I gotta show everyone.
Okay, yes, show everyone. Yes, go on.
So what we've been talking about, Night Stalker.
Yes, that's Night Stalker.
We're gonna have it up in our once we edit too, so it's gonna be bigger, maybe above me or whatnot. So we have this one. Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you. Oh, you're quite welcome. I am glad to do it.
I'm training you with Eagles, by the way.
Okay.
Hey, and Red Riding Hood. Okay.
R.R.H, Red Riding Hood.
And it's a San Diego Comic Con.
That's a San Diego exclusive, yes. Well, that's a special book we did when it first came out. And the premise of R.R.H is basically the wolf from the famous story uses Ancestry.com to trace the lineage of Little Red Riding Hood. And the wolf actually finds Little Red Riding Hood's 10th generation granddaughter, her great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-granddaughter. When he finds her, he actually kidnaps her and holds her responsible for what happened 800 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Her name is Sydney, and she doesn't know what's going on. She just thinks this guy is crazy, he's nuts, he's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is she's rescued from the kidnapping, and then a whole new world is revealed to her. And she eventually becomes trained to become the most lethal assassin the world has ever seen, and she will specialize in killing werewolves and vampires, and it all happens on her 17th birthday. That's how we get down to Devil's Due First. This is a story that you would never hear anyplace else, and we want to come up with unique, compelling stories. And people, they'll buy the first 3-4 issues of R.R.H. I've had so many times they buy the first 3 or 4 issues, then the next day they said, I want everything else because they love where the story's going.
Awesome.
Well, something that we can everybody can relate. That's something like, hey, I want
Who doesn't know who's
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I love all of that.
and like, where's my ancestor? Like,
Right.
who,
That's so funny. My brother just did that with the ancestry.
Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
DEA.
Yeah,
DNA, and all of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and somebody had messaged him about like cousins or something. That maybe I don't know, family. So I'm like, I don't know. But that's so cool to read that.
and so,
Awesome.
is it ongoing right now, or
You
where
know,
can you get
actually, the issue's paused right now. The issue's paused right now. We will be hopefully very soon, within the next couple of months, it will be submitted for television series. We're going to be hitting all the big guys. I just hooked up with a literary agency,
I'm really happy.
Underground,
Congrats.
and I got my men over at Underground, and they love the comprehension of R.R.H. And Underground was so great. They were like, well, what else do you have? So then, of course, I brought in Night Stalker. And Night Stalker, for those of you who don't know, she's African American. She's a demonic detective from hell. And the basic premise is the gates of hell have been breached. They've been busted open by several creatures. And these creatures have actually escaped from hell. They've made it to Earth, and now they're hiding, posing as human beings. She's been tasked by the Dark Lord to figure out who the creatures are, track them, capture them, drag them back to hell. But as you know, they're not going to go back to hell willingly. They actually have the ability to time jump. So she has to chase them through different time periods of Earth.
Oh my God.
Now, her being African American, they put a real twist on her. They said, we know just where to go to hide from her, where we should be okay.
Oh my God.
So they've gone to
No
1920s, 30s, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Virginia to hide from her. So what you have, you have this high-ranking demon,
Yes.
bounty hunter, who has to bow down and be subservient to the time to fit in. She has to still do her job and catch the creatures and not change the past in order to affect the future. So it gets real hectic really quick.
Wow.
I didn't read that. She can kick their butt. It's like, oh, treat me bad.
Oh
Step
my
up.
God.
I'll kick your butt.
Right.
And she still has like to deal with
Oh,
what do we deal with? Slavery.
Slavery? Oh yeah, slavery. Jim Crow, socialism, and heaven and hell.
He just wants.
Because she's a demon.
Wants to catch demon. You guys,
Yeah.
come on.
Oh my God, sounds so interesting.
Sounds simple, but it gets really
So are we
complicated.
gonna see that color somewhere up in maybe?
Well, you know what? That we just with Underground also, they also have just commissioned a script to be developed, and we just got the green light on that last week. So we're going to do what's called a spec script on Night Stalker, and hopefully, but before they would allow it, they called many studios, many of their contacts, and were like, look, this is what we're trying to do. They wanted to see what the reaction was going to be. Let's keep it real. We're doing this thing, so I might as well be honest. Race matters. Color does matter.
Okay, so and you mentioned before we went on the recording
Right.
about my people, like lazy Asian rich
Yeah.
people. Not all Asians are rich, by the way. They're not. You see me working here.
You know what? So, I mean, I don't know how to put it, but when I was younger, growing up here, I see I used to work at Walgreens. That was
Right.
my second job, and I would see a lot of Asian people
Dressed
there,
up.
and then all nice,
Mhm.
Louis Vuitton. I used to think that all Asians were rich and super smart.
Honestly, some are smart, but some of them are very materialistic. Sorry, I can.
People of the world. That's how people of the world are. I mean, and you're in America, where it's all about the grain. And so it was good. I got the feedback. So when they call the studios, their contacts at the studios, they're like, look, here's what the deal is. And so my guy called me back. He was like, Orlando, we got really good news on this. They said, obviously, Black Panther had a huge boost. I mean, #2 film of all time ever, Black Panther. And then I didn't expect him to say that. He said, and then Crazy Rich Asians has done extremely well. I'm like, Crazy Rich Asians? What's that got to do with Night Stalker? He said, they're really starting to understand that minorities, people want to see themselves on the screen, and not against anybody, not just white people.
No.
They want to see diversity. They want to see different stories told from different point of views, not just from an ethnocentric, Eurocentric point of view.
Yeah.
And so he said, so the feedback we got was so good. we're going to say, let's go forward and let's start on the Night Stalker script.
You know,
That's great.
right, that you're saying that, I don't know if you've seen like DC has their own,
UH heroes.
no. Their app, their service of streaming service, and they did Teen Titans.
Teen Titans,
And you see how Starfire, like, well, you know, she's African American, and a lot of people having, you know, not because she's African American, but because they're so used to it of seeing Starfire as a white. Yeah, you know. So now seeing something different, I like that. You know, they're bringing you know, diversity and, you know, and all those characters.
It's so important.
But then it's like, I mean, how do you see, you know, from, and what I've seen is like they don't have a problem that she is African American. What they have problems with their costume. they're like, cosplayers are better. Come on, they can do better. You know?
I mean, they can afford it. They can afford to do better. Yes.
Yes, and I like that Jim Lee posted, and oh my God, all their comments were like, we don't care that she's African American. We care that her costume. Come on,
It's tacky.
And even Raven's costume was like, come on, cosplayers are like, cosplayers can do better than that. Why can you not do better? So I like to see all that, you know, it's like, it's not just like white people anymore, you know, it's like, it's diverse.
And you know what, I gotta add on this, and I've said this before, and I'm glad Black Panther did very, very well. Okay, and I've said this before for all of us minorities, okay, you guys are breaking grounds. You're opening the doors for all of the minorities. And you know what? One of these days we might see an Asian, Mexican superhero out there. So it did very well. Black Panther was amazing. We had a good feedback, and you guys paved the way for us.
I mean, it's just important because you have a huge niche market that has just been missed, absolutely missed. This is why Tyler Perry was able to come up, because they weren't making any movies for African Americans. So he was doing a low budget, under $1 million, $2 million movies, but he was making 10, 15, 20, $30 million on them. And people just like, nah, that concept won't work, it won't work. And it kept working where he's buying his own studios, he's doing all of this stuff now. So now they're starting to see, hey, minorities will spend money. But see, I think one of the things that I don't think the studios, Hollywood, just people appreciate, period. Nowadays, race isn't as important. It's still important, but it's not as important. Right now, we as people who go to movies, who go to flicks and we want to see something, we want to see something good.
Yes.
We want to see a good story.
Yes.
But we want to see a diverse good story. You know? We're much more sophisticated than we were before. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to see the movie with the black guy or the Asian people up in it. I'm not going to see that. People are like, is it good? I mean, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I mean, the way that blew up. I love that movie, and word of mouth spreads. Now, if a movie's horrible, it will take immediately just by word of mouth also.
Like DC movies?
Yeah, it's been kind of rough for DC. Been kind of rough.
Yeah, hopefully they got better. Waiting for Shazam, we'll see how that goes.
Well, they're trying this new kind of, I like it, like they're trying hard to be funny. And it reminds me of Big.
Right, the Tom Hanks, yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it?
No, I've been wanting
Because
to
of the movie.
watch it.
You're going to learn how
Tom
to
Hanks.
eat the small little corn.
Oh, I need to
Big
watch
is a good movie. It's
I
definitely a
need to
good
watch
movie.
it. I love Tom Hanks,
Yeah.
and that's one that I have not seen yet. I think that's the only movie I haven't seen with Tom Hanks.
So back to your comic books.
Right.
And I go to cons and all that, right?
Right.
And I feel like, and I'm sure you feel this too, artists gets more credit than the artists. They get more...
Who gets more credit?
Not credit, but they have more exposure, or they're more like...
You said the artists or the
artists.
Artists get more credit than the writers?
Oh.
That is true.
I mean, that's what you see.
Yeah.
You see the art, the cool artwork. I mean, there's nothing but, I mean, heck, even with my art, I'm like, hey, I want that piece.
But you know what? It's not necessary to, like, if I'm a reader, I'm a reader. Like, I know Chloe Dunn, Jeff Lemire. If I know who are, I'm like, it's always constantly the good writers I'm seeking. Then I'll pick that up. You know, so not so, but I hate it because I see it at the cons, and you know, we have a table for a writer and the artist. The artist will have a line.
That's true.
The writer won't have it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get that much of a recognition.
Unless if it's like a big, right? Like,
yes.
like
Donny Cates
and
Bendis.
oh my god, I totally forgot his freaking name. DC Snyder. You know, like
So
that's
anything
true.
big, but when it comes to like, especially in independent,
It makes sense, though. It makes sense. You're gonna be attracted to what you see. Nobody's gonna be really at cons reading stuff. You know, they're gonna be looking. They're gonna see this cool heroic, statue of this or this pose, this great pose. And they're like, oh man, that looks really cool. Then they're gonna come over. Then when they find a little bit, like, who's that guy? Oh, he's a writer. He's a critic. Oh, can I get your autograph? Or can I get this and that too? So it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, even with my artists, I have to see their work and I have to be attracted to it. And I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'd like him to work on R.R.H. or I'd like him to work on Night Stalker. Then I'll reach out to him like that. But if I'm not attracted to their art, the art is what sells it.
Is it hard to find artists to kind of like capture what you envisioned your character, or like where the setting is and all that stuff?
You know, typically, no, it's really not hard because the beautiful thing about it is when I set up the scenes, when I write the scenes out, I have my artists do basically little sketches, little stick figure sketches, so we can set the pages up perfectly. So I'll know exactly what's coming in, and then they bring it home with all the detail, So usually it works out pretty well. You have to be able to jive. And sometimes when you're working together, it takes a little time for him to understand what you want, and you have to give him some free range on doing things. And some things, even with my artists, some things I wouldn't necessarily put in there, but when they do it, I'm like, man, that actually really works. And it's a collab. It's a team. It's all about working with the team. It's a team concept, and you want to put out the best product you can.
Yes.
And like I was just saying, like it's with me, like since I'm beginning, with the comics and all that stuff, like when the art, it's what it pulls me to read that book, and then once, and now I was telling you, now I'm learning more about the artist, and then on our Tuesday when we do like, I've been, I write it down like the names of, who's writing this book because I want to give credit, not only the artist, but the writer too, like they have, I mean, if it wasn't for them, that book wouldn't be.
Nothing to dry.
Yes. That was just drying.
Yeah,
but I think that's one of the most beautiful things right there because we need each other. I need the artist. The artist needs a good writer because there are books out there who have kick butt artwork, but the story sucks, and nobody. You can't get past one issue with that, and nobody will buy it after that. They have to be able to complement each other.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to say with my writing skills, my writing usually complements the artwork. The artwork, I won't use an artist if it doesn't complement my writing.
Yes.
So it always seems to work out together, and then we come up with a great product.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, that's something that I was wondering, like, how do they, connect? And what happens if you don't? Luckily you like your artists, I wonder if other people, like, what do they do if they don't like their artists?
You like what you like, and you have to go with your gut and instinct. Just like whatever music you like. Good music, no matter if it's country, rock and roll, pop, hip hop, or anything like that, it's good music. I don't care if it's acid rock. If it's got a good beat, good lyric, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
Same thing with comics. The final product, you have artwork like from Jim Lee to say Frank Miller, to like my guy Andres Esparza, or David Miller, or Kanan White, and you know what? In the end, if it attracts, if the composition works, and of course your colors, you put some great colors in there, or even black and white art, it will pop. People will be attracted to it, and you know what's attractive, and you know what's not attractive. Just like the ladies, you guys are wonderful people, but when your husband saw you, they weren't necessarily attracted to your brain. They saw what was on the outside, and then they got to know what was in that brain. Same thing. We bring them in with the covers, the great artwork, but then when they read that story, that's how you keep them. That's how you keep them.
Yeah, that's true. That's awesome.
So, I'm going to take you away from your comic book, and we're going to talk about Fantasia.
Fantasia. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we are, and I'm glad that I was part of this.
I'm very happy too.
Part of the second year of Fantasia, and I was able to see from last year to this year, you did amazing.
Thank you.
You brought.
It was a big change from the first year. First year was such a struggle. It was such a struggle.
It's the first year.
Yeah.
But you know what you're doing.
I think so. I hope so.
No,
I
you
hope
do.
so.
And I've been to cons, and I could tell like who does not know how to run a show and who does know how
Sorry.
to run a show.
You have something to say? Lucy, anything to say?
And there's some like they just do it just for the heck of it, and I get it. I get it. But you need to have the heart.
You better have a heart.
You gotta have.
You
Some
better
passion.
have a heart.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really glad that you walked in here this time around and you
This year,
asked me.
first year.
And I was like, you know, I thank you because I got to see it.
Thank you, Chicks. Thank you.
You know, and
I'm very happy.
I'm rooting for you because honestly, you're not affected by this whole marketing in Palm Springs. You're too far away from them, and you have a good location, good following. You're on your own there.
Yeah.
And
There's
now, like,
nobody's
you know,
copying you.
a lot of people, they know, like, India, you know,
Mhm.
now it's, you
Mhm.
know, the fairgrounds, and
Yes.
that's
Right.
popular, and you also getting all the people that are in that side of the valley, you know, that, I mean, we got it from that weekend,
Mhm.
we got a lot of new customers.
Yes.
Because
Which is good.
We can't
Yeah.
really reach out over there, but you know, if I go to cons and we've never touched the east side of the valley, and that's why I'm glad that you invited me and we
Mhm.
were there because we were able to grab people from North Shore, Coachella, and there's some people there that are into comic books, and we're finding them here. And you know what? I want to give you. I'm really proud of you because you got Kevin Eastman, and that's a comic.
Yeah,
book.
Kevin's a great guy too. Kevin's a great guy.
Comic Con, it has to stay within the comic related.
Right.
Artists, writers, everything about comics, not just anything that, you know, just to bring people in or
Yeah.
take some money.
Right.
No, we gotta
Right.
stay true to what it's supposed to be.
It's important. It really is
And
important.
especially you that you are, you know, a comic book writer,
Right.
you know what kind of like what to look for. And
Right.
you being also you love comics, you know, so you know what a Comic Con should be about.
Right.
You know, so that's awesome.
I mean, Kevin Eastman was such a plus. Him and his wife are such a class act.
Sweetheart,
I mean,
down
they're-
to
yes.
earth, very down to earth people. Down to earth.
I mean, Kevin and Courtney, they were just fantastic people. I'm glad he came, and it's really important. Obviously, I do comics. I love comics, and we want to keep the focus on comics. Some of the bigger shows, you know, this Hollywood and everything, and I think that is a part of it.
Right.
I think that is a part of it because I would love for Red Riding Hood to become that television series or Night Stalker to become that feature film. And it's important that the young people know, you know, that we're doing these shows and we have a lot of cool things, you know.
Yes.
Still, it's a small show. The Fantasia is a small show, but it was a quality. It was a really, I thought, a really
No,
quality
it was
quality
very
show.
No, it's quality.
And I think we have nothing but potential to get bigger and to get better.
Yes.
Kevin was, you know, Kevin and his wife, and his whole team, they were such class acts. I'm just very happy we were able to do this, we were able to produce it, and I didn't really hear anybody say anything really negative about the show. Now, there are always going to be disgruntled people. Always. You can't help it.
Please everyone.
Yes.
You cannot please everyone.
And our first show was so tough. It was so hard to do that show because that's the first thing people would ask. If it's your first show, we're like, yeah. They're like, oh, I'm not interested in coming. Or they say,
For
okay,
vendors,
I'll come.
For vendors or
Vendors,
for artists,
both,
everything?
everybody. Because it's your first show. They're not expecting to have too many numbers. They're not expecting to make a lot of money. And then, so they want you to pay for everything. I want a free booth. I want you to pay for my hotel. I want you to pay my flight out there. Some people were willing to do that. I had some money. We were able to do it. Brought some really class guys. You know, Ryan Kincaid brought him out.
Ryan Kincaid,
Yes,
guys.
Ryan Kincaid, my man Ryan.
God,
came
it was
out.
Amazing.
Kevin Eastman obviously came
And
out.
I thank you for that because I met Ryan Kincaid. Is an amazing guy. J Photos. There was
J
you
Photos,
guys
yes, J Photos, my
had
man.
underrated
Yeah.
artists there that nobody knew that you
Right.
had it. And you gotta check out all small cons because there's no line, easy access to
Right.
writers and artists.
And you can spend time with them.
Yes.
I mean, and you know, it was
Yeah.
one of the things. And so I went to another show and found this guy, Larry Houston, there.
yes.
And Larry Houston, he was from the old X-Men television animated show. Man, every time I went by Larry's table, it was like 9-10 people there. He had some of the coolest things from, and we love the old X-Men.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I mean,
and not to mention Tony Fleeks. I bought.
Tony Fleeks, My Little Pony.
I got
Yes.
his original too. I had to have his original because my girl was on the page, so I'm like,
That's the one you got me
Yes.
of the Wonder Woman, My Little Pony. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. So
Tony Fleeks, yes. He, really nice guy. Really nice guy. And so, you know, we're a community.
Yes.
And then, so I think they appreciate a little bit more that I'm not just some promoter trying to promote a show, but I'm actually in the business.
Yes, you are.
And I started out in the business just with a love for comics. Not making any big money or anything like that. I'm not making any money. We do it for the love. You can't go in it to try to make money, because if you try to make money, you're going to be starving. That's why you call you starving artists, because you're going to be starving like Marvin Boy, let me tell you. And so hopefully, whether we make it big or not, you want to put out the best work you can, because it's one of the things I tell my child, I tell everybody. 40 years from now, Orlando Hardy is going to be long dead and gone, but my books are going to still be here. They'll be all over the world. It's funny, when I first came out.
The next Tolkien.
Yes.
Right?
I don't see why not.
Why not?
And I've had people email me from Europe, from Italy. I mean, they're just like, hey man, I got your book. I really enjoyed it. Like, whoa. So they're, 100 years, 150 years, 200 years from now, they're going to find one of these R.R.H's, these Night Stalkers, any of these books. They're going to be like, the heck is this? Who was Orlando Hardy? And then I'll open up my book and say, hey, it's a pretty good book, and then that will be the legacy. That's the legacy we hand down to the next generation. A little piece of ourselves to show I was here, and to show that through my books, I still get to live.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm glad. Honestly, okay, so when is next year going to happen?
We're still trying to figure that out now.
Okay.
May was a very difficult month.
Just don't call on Mother's Day.
Yes. May was a bit difficult. And it's important. May's an important month simply because it's before the heat hits out here in the Coachella Valley. So before that, it's Coachella, the music festival.
Coachella!
Everything's bought up. Everything's sold out. Everything's sold
That
out.
is
So then once you got May, you have Free Comic Book Day, you have Mother's Day, and you have one more thing, a Coachella event going on.
Stagecoach.
Yeah.
Stagecoach.
Yeah, Stagecoach. That's right, Stagecoach. So May was a very tough month, so we're actually considering moving it from May to another month. We haven't figured out what month that's going to be.
But we are going to have
Yeah,
Fantasia.
we're going to have it. We're going to have it. We're definitely going to have it.
Next year we'll
Yeah.
be back. Okay.
Yeah. So we still have to figure out, honestly, the venue and the right month. We got to figure out the right month, because it's just difficult. And we can't do it in June because it's already 100. Very possible. I'm open to everything. I'm open to everything.
But we're definitely coming back, right?
Yeah, we're coming back.
Okay,
We're
good.
coming back.
That's
The
awesome.
city of Indio has been nothing but supportive. Councilman Troy Strange, the city managers of Indio, PJ, Brandon, they're all very supportive of the show, and they put a lot of time and effort into the show. But it's really tough to do a show late May, early June, because it just heats up, and next thing you know, it's 110,
Exactly.
and nobody wants to come out.
Nobody
Wants to come out. And I don't care who's there.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to come out in 110 degree weather. So we have to really look at where else we can either put the show or different
Is
months
it
to do
still
it.
going to be in the valley?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Well, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're doing
Thank you.
an amazing job. And you, whatever you need, and you got my back.
Oh, I want to thank you guys. You guys have been very supportive. I felt bad the first year that I didn't come by. And remember, I told chicks, I was like, girl,
Oh my God.
girl, I just forgot. Because I was pretty much a one-man show. Pretty much a one-man show, just getting everything together. And then, a serious amount of money. And then the people, then once I got to know people out here in the Coachella Valley, my man, all my men started helping out and throwing things in. My man Alfred, my man Josue, my wife, our friends, everybody just started, Alma, our show manager, we just all plugged in.
Yeah.
It was, and in the
You
first
have a
year,
bigger team.
we have a much
this
bigger
time.
team, yeah.
Okay.
And nobody wanted to get paid. They were just like, we just want to help and put on a good show.
Okay, Alma, she's amazing.
Alma's the bomb.
Okay, Alma. I started following her. You have to meet her. She's
Yeah.
such a firecracker.
Alma
She's
is-
on
yes.
top of things.
Yes.
She knows what
Awesome.
she's doing. She's an artist.
Oh,
Yes.
She's an
that's-
artist.
I think that when you have people, helping the team,
Mhm.
that they know comics, I think it will work so
Right.
much better because they know what's going on. They know
Right.
they know everything.
Yeah.
About what's going on in the comic book world. A whole different world.
Whole different. I mean, I even had people from my church. My man Sam Thompson came out
Oh,
and helped us in the booth and
that's
everything.
awesome.
Because in the end, they wanted to support me.
Of course.
I just had to. I said, hey, I want to put a con out here. Didn't know what I was getting myself into. But in the end, just before the show opened, we looked at the floor. We're like, This looks like any other show, just a smaller show.
Yes.
It looks like any other show you would go to, and I'm just happy people gave us a chance.
So what made you come up with the con? What made you put a con here in India?
You know what? I thought it would be good. There wasn't one before, and I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's put it out there. Now we got 4 shows out here, and nobody had made their announcement that they were looking at a show. Nobody had done it yet. So I went to the city council of Indio, said, hey, I showed them some video of the San Diego Comic Con. I said, I don't see any reason why we can't put a show out there. And we were just in the planning stages, and that's when Palm Springs Comic Con, Palm Springs, they started making their announcements.
But you know what? You're out of that confusion. Everybody's so confused about
Thank
this whole
goodness.
thing in Palm Springs, and you have your own entity there. Quickly though, I know it has only took a couple of minutes.
Couple minutes,
but
okay.
We're going to talk about San Diego Comic Con.
San Diego Comic Con.
No longer use con next year. What are we going to do next year? Are we buying the license? Are you going to?
Darn good question. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
We haven't. That hasn't come off the table yet.
Is it affecting a lot of cons?
It could if they start suing everybody.
Yeah.
It definitely could.
Oh my god.
I mean,
They should.
it's a tough one. Owning the word Comic Con, which is so loosely used by everybody, it's just short for Comic Convention. For them to own such a generic term, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
But yeah, you can use comic conventions though.
Uh-huh.
But you can't just use
Comic Con, and
See,
so
and the good thing is that you have like Fantasia. It's
Yes.
it's like you don't have.
right.
It's Fantasia.
But it does say
it's
Fantasia Comic Con. It says
But then,
yeah.
that's true.
You just
That
dropped
need
that.
to-
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
so,
you're known as Fantasia.
People go
That's
People know
true.
it's Fantasia. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I gotta assume the Utah show is going to appeal it. It was kind of home court advantage. They filed this in San Diego. I guess the lawsuit was filed in San
San
Diego.
Diego wants to keep it there.
Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting that they found for that. So we'll see. I respect the legal system. I respect the legal process. I'm not saying I'm in line with the decision that they made because again, I believe Comic Con is such a generic term. So many people use it. For you to own that is, I think, a stretch.
Yes.
A bit of a stretch.
And when you mention about con, it's like it's like something big is
Uh-huh.
happening.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a big event,
Yeah.
And for them to own that word, it's just like that's kind of like
Really?
selfish.
Yeah.
Kinda?
But they're the big boys.
Sure,
They're the big boys. They have the most money, and so they can afford to go after people.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they have a budget of several $1 million, where we're running with a budget which is much less than several $1 million.
Yeah.
And in the end, we just want to put on something. We want to just put on something cool for the fans here. Put something quality, not make it too expensive and try to rip people off, or just so we can try to hopefully get back our money and keep on putting on shows. That's what we want to do.
For family here in the valley
Yes.
to do,
Yes. You
That's
gotta remember,
awesome.
and what's funny? It's like all these cons. Remember, we're a resort area. Our demographic is not 9-to-5 job, full-time job,
Right.
$20 an hour.
Right.
It's a resort area. It's part-timers,
Right.
seasonal jobs. So when it comes to summer, they gotta weigh which is their budget.
Right.
Which important
Right.
necessities to wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's different demographic from LA area, San Diego area,
Right.
Seattle, New York. We are in the desert. It's a
the
resort.
difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big difference. A big difference.
So,
But I'm, from no shows to a few shows, which is great. I think that's going to benefit the desert. We'll see how everything turns
we're
out.
Well,
beating
you
LA
know
to
what?
have like 4 shows out here in the desert.
But you know what? Okay, now that I see the cons, I think about it. Okay, before there was no comic book stores. Now we're 3 comic book
Right?
stores.
Very true.
And
Very
you know
true.
what? It's like we send people that they just come here to visit. We send them to the other 2 stores because I feel like if they do good, we're gonna do good.
Right.
And I have noticed that they have done the same. They're redoing the same. They know new people. They send them. Hey, make sure you check this store. Make sure this.
It's mutually
So-
beneficial. It only makes sense. I mean, we as the fans, we're going to like whatever stores we like. But if we can't find something at another store, it only makes sense to send them to another store because in the end, we want the fan to be able to get what they want. And they'll remember that.
Yes.
And they will remember that.
Yes.
And then you guys, of course, can return the favor.
Yeah. Of course.
I'm here.
Yeah.
So, whatever you need.
Thank you,
Poster,
ladies. You guys
whatever
are the
you
bomb.
need. Thank you. And, I'm
Yeah.
glad that you
Bring
enjoyed
us
the
the
past time.
comics. So
Yes,
when
and
I-
let me know when everything's restarting so I can carry it.
I will make sure.
And now that
Because
we
yes, I
have
expect you to be able to carry that. Because
Yes, I
think
am.
if this, I can't say it on air, but there's a person we're going after for the actress to play Sydney.
I already said yes.
And
Did you
so
ask
that wouldn't be bad, Chicks.
Wait,
Let's see
come
what
on.
Joe Bell said.
Crazy Asian. What? You don't have not even seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I want to see it now.
Okay, I think we
want
have
to
a
see it.
question.
So I have a question for you.
See,
What was his very first comic he bought?
Oh, okay. What a great question.
And what can we know about anything in the future coming for Mr. Harding?
Okay.
Oh.
The very first comic I ever bought, I think I'm like a lot of other people. No doubt, Spider-Man. Being from San Francisco, I had to go to. There was a liquor store right around the corner from my house, and they had back in the day they had this rack that spun around, and they had comic books there. So I would pass by as a little kid.
It's not back and board? Oh my god.
No. I don't even think it had bag and board. We're talking about probably 1976, 1977.
Oh, wow.
So I would literally walk maybe about 100 feet, and I go to the liquor store, and comic books back then were only like 25 cents. And the first book I ever bought was Spider-Man.
Cool.
So I love Peter Parker. And what we can expect in the future, I'm working on a new book right now.
Ooh.
And I was just telling the ladies, it's going to be actually a really cool book. And all the books I've done, Pariah, Red Riding Hood, and Night Stalker, I've held back a little bit. I've held back from going where I really wanted to go. This book, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to put everything in it. And it's going to be a pretty wicked book.
Wait.
And so we're working on it now. As a matter of fact, I just showed the ladies the cover.
Yes.
And she's
Thank
going to
you.
be,
You
she is
exclusive.
Latina. She's Latina.
Ooh, girl.
She's from she's a Mexican. She's from Mexico, and it's going to be a book that nobody is going to see
Can you
coming.
make it from Guadalajara, please? That's where I'm from.
Do you need an actress?
Well,
Lucy?
Guadalajara.
She's Mexican, but believe it or not, she lives in San Francisco. She's Mexican, she lives in San Francisco. Yeah,
I
so
lived
you've been
there
there.
for a little bit.
And this book, I should be done with the book in probably about another 60 days or so. And the book is going to be something. I'm going to go someplace where nobody has ever been, and I'm going to throw the readers off. So people are either going to love it, they're going to be like, "Whoa, this is way out there," because I'm going to basically do imitation of life. And there's some weird people, some to do some strange things in different countries and here in America. So I'm going to go there and put those nuances in.
Well, if you have any questions, with the Mexican thing, you have me and Anna. We're both Mexicans. Mexico City,
Okay.
Guadalajara,
All right,
so
okay.
you can, come
All right,
and
Lucy, I'm going to be calling you then. I'm going to be calling you because I had to talk to some of my coworkers and be like, hey, what I was asking them, what do Mexicans call Mexicans that live in America who don't know how to speak Spanish? What do you call them? The derogatory names. So we're putting all kinds of things like that in there. So I am going to go there. Yeah.
We'll say those.
And so this will be unique in itself. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we make fun of the people who that look so Mexican
And don't speak a word of Spanish. Yes. And I know they get called certain things, and so I'm going to
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be on that track.
So excited. I'm just so
And
excited.
eventually, in the future, you might be writing something about Asians too.
Actually, it will be a
Hey,
totally
Sophia?
Asian. There's going to be a big Asian presence in R.R.H.
Really?
It's a huge Asian presence in R.R.H. It's a huge one.
And if you need an actress to do that, I'm here for you.
Well, I have some experience, I've
You
been
went into
extra,
Lucy?
so.
All right, then we got to get out of here. Yes. No, thank you for that question. I think that's a great question.
That is a great question. Any more questions that we have for
No,
Mr.
right now.
Hart? So
Yeah.
anyway, we were going to shoot it to you if they have any questions.
Okay.
Where are we going to find you? How are they going to get
Oh, well, shoot. Just look up Orlando Hardin on Facebook, or you can reach me through...
Google it up.
Yeah,
He's
just
famous.
Google my name, or Fantasia Comic Con. The email, you can contact me through Fantasia Comic Con, Fantasia Comic Con on Instagram, Fantasia Comic Con on Facebook, or Orlando Hardin on Facebook. Or you can just yell out loud and I'll probably hear you. Yes, I'll probably hear you. I have good ears.
You can just come over here. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or you can find me through Chicks.
Yep.
And Lucy. And Anna.
Yes.
We'll be here. Yes. So I think that's all we've got for Mr.
today.
Orlando. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you
This
guys.
was
This was
fun.
fun. Oh, and I just had Thai food for my first time. And again, I want to thank you ladies for the wonderful Thai food. This is the first, so we will be having it again.
Yes,
Yeah, it
we
was
will. 'Cause
from-
we want to follow up.
Yeah.
We will follow
Yes.
up.
And next thing you know, we're gonna go global.
Yes, that is the goal.
Right.
That is the goal.
Right.
Let's make it happen.
If it was from
Les Maisons.
Le Vasil, so good.
Le
Not
Vasil.
French.
Thank you, Le Vasil.
Okay, it's Thai food.
Thai food.
They
Yes.
should have like I told you, they should have like a little parenthesis on the
It's
bottom.
not French.
Yeah, not French. It's Thai food.
Thai.
Yeah.
Yes. so
And you
good.
like my little drink?
Oh, I like everything. I like everything. And, you know, there's nothing better to sit up here and to do this and look at wonderful comics, look at wonderful ladies, books, statues. It's just beautiful. I told you every time I come down here, I just love coming down here just to sit here and just kind of look around. It just makes me feel at home.
The first time you came in, didn't you buy a statue?
Yes. I got
I remember.
Darth Malgus, the Sideshow Premium Darth
I
Malgus
just
statue.
remember you
Yes.
came in, you're like, I gotta
I
have
gotta
it.
have that. I was actually looking for that
So
statue for
funny.
quite some time with a working lightsaber. So, what beautiful thing I find it at Comic Asylum.
That is awesome.
And what was I doing? I was making wheeling dealing with you. Or
Oh no, you were good. You were very fair. Yes, very fair price. You can get good deals down here at Comic Asylum.
Thank you.
He just did a little commercial.
And I gave
Yeah.
him a hard time. Tim's like, well, what did you? So, but we moved past that, and I'm glad now we have this.
Me too.
Wouldn't you not give a hard time?
Yes, we
Right.
don't give a hard time to.
I love
I
it.
don't. I mean, I give every single one that walks in this store. Like,
We give everybody a hard time.
Yeah, I think you should.
That's our thing.
Yeah, you should. So this makes the place memorable.
yes.
Oh,
An
yes.
escape and a safe haven for them, for all the crazy out there. So thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Orlando
you.
Harding from Fantasia, and don't forget
Chicks and Mama
comic
Comics.
books, Red Riding Hood,
Red Riding Hood, Night Stalker, and I will make the new announcement for my new book probably the next 90 days or so.
Where can they get?
The books you can order through devilsdufirstcomics.com, or you can go to my website, rrhcomic.com or nightstalkercomic.com. Email me and I'll make sure you get the books. No issue.
Or let me know if you guys want some copies so I can get a hold of them, and maybe I'll get some copies.
And we will, our next con we are going to, I can make this, it's in next week, October 6th. We will be at the Yuma Con in Yuma, Arizona. And you can get the books there.
Very
Oh,
nice. Okay. So you
That's
have it in
awesome.
here. All right. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much for coming and being here.
Thank you and thank you and thank you.
Thanks,
and
Anna.
Thank you.
Nana.
Thank you guys.
If you guys
Again,
have
don't
any
forget to
questions for
subscribe.
him, you guys can still
Yes.
in the
Make
comments,
comments.
and we will ask Orlando.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
get back to
Absolutely.
you guys.
Anything you want, anything you need, just let me know.
Thank
And
you.
I appreciate the question we got. I thought the two-part question, I thought it was great.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good night.